right, so today I'm super excited. We got the agent with the most swag, Bo Sweeney, on. And so today on this podcast, we're gonna go ahead and get started and hear his story on how Bo is crushing it and building an insane agency. So welcome to the show, Bo, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've been looking forward to this one. I've been following you for a long time, and your social media game is off the chain. But the thing that really stood out to me the most was your impact and your work ethic. You're always working, and your leadership. So I'm really looking forward to kind of learning some things for you. So let's just kind of go all the way back to the beginning. When did you kind of realize you were different, and you kind of had the entrepreneurial bug, and like how your journey first started?
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up, I always kind of had this interest of doing my own thing and working for myself and being able to make the money that I felt like I was worth. It started right out of high school. I started venturing into playing football, and I moved to North Dakota to play college football, and I didn't even want to move out there. I went out there and I just made it happen. I went through a semester. I'm like, man, I do not like North Dakota. I'm out of here. And then I transferred to Monterey, California. I was out there for 2 years, and then I went to Arkansas, Henderson State, and I finished up my last 2 years there. And when I had graduated, I got a business degree, and I'm like, okay, what's next? And you don't really know what's next. They talk about, hey, go to school for business, go get a degree, but there's no real streamlined system to what is next after you get a degree. So I started interviewing for other jobs. I moved back from Arkansas to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, he owns a successful stucco company,
Okay.
but we butt heads, so we couldn't work together. I knew that it's not a bad problem. Me and my dad, we have a great relationship. We just couldn't work together.
Okay.
And I started interviewing for some jobs, and it was like corporate America, suit and tie stuff. And I show up, I'll never forget. I think it was like this shipping company.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's like, hey, why do you want to work? Why do you want to work with us? And I was like, hey, I think I could be an asset. I was a college athlete. I was a team captain. Here's my results. I worked my butt off. This is what I've accomplished through school and outside of school. And he's like, no, why the F do you want to work with us? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I do not want to work with this guy at all. So long story short, fell into my captive agency. And I was working my butt off. I was seeing all the nice things, the nice cars. My vision was strong, but the money making wasn't there for me. I was putting in the results. I was doing all the little things right, but I wasn't getting the result that aligned with my vision and my dreams and my passion, my desire. So long story short, I was grinding. I look up after a year. What's crazy is that I stayed in the insurance industry. Like
Why?
most people would have left if they went through what I went through. Like, I had no money. My first 3-4 months, I made $0.
Wow.
I was working a part-time job. I was showing up. My manager, my trainer, he got evicted. His car got repossessed. I was picking him up. I was driving to appointments. Like, he didn't have any money to pay me out of the appointments. It was a shit show, to be honest. But I just put my
Wow.
head down, and I think that just created like the dog that I was supposed to be. And I look up at the end of the year, I had made 30 grand. I'm like, dude, I'm broke. But I
Mm.
had just graduated college. I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, okay, like I know I'm going to shake back. I can at least double, triple next year. But that wasn't the reality for where I was at.
Gotcha.
It just wasn't matching up. So got introduced to Nina and Hayden when we came over here. It was like, hey, tell me about the opportunity, but I didn't really care too much about the opportunity. I've heard anybody in sales is going to say, hey, I got the best opportunity ever. It's like, dude,
Right.
just show me what's in your bank account.
Right.
And
You just
what they
wanted
were
some proof.
depositing a month was more than what I was making a year. I'm like, dude, it just makes sense for me to come over here.
Gotcha. So what was that time like? Because I know that like in that moment where you're not making a lot of people start with a practice company, but that's where you're able to fail, but you're also able to learn a lot about the business, and then you know, really see that, oh, this there is a big opportunity. I just may not be in the right vehicle. So how were you able to navigate that time? Because I know that was difficult. How are you able to persevere, to stick with the insurance industry without giving up and continue? Because you said you had a big vision.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was, and I wasn't the big, like I was the guy that made it through college by paying people to do my homework. Like I'll be completely honest, I was just doing it to play college football. And I was big on, like I knew I was like, if I want to make this entrepreneur stuff work, if I want to build a business, I have to develop the skill set to do so. So as soon as I passed my license, I just Googled, I was like top 10 books to read. And I came across Think and Grow Rich. I was like, okay, this should be a good book for me. And when I was reading it, it was speaking life into me. It didn't matter the hours I put in without the money. It didn't matter the time or the sweat equity I put in. It didn't matter because I knew eventually I was going to fall into success. I was going to fall into building a big business, teaching people how to make money, leading from the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember when I first, it was like almost like God speaking to me. And I
Nah.
have like I read it and it was like eventually I forget how it went, but in the very first couple pages, it was talking about at one point in your life you may generate wealth from life insurance.
Mm.
And I'm like, dude, I searched top 10 books. I find this book. I just got licensed. Why would this be the book I picked? And then it's going to speak about life insurance to me.
Right. Yeah. So that's very interesting. So let's kind of take a step back. So yeah, going and playing ball in college, right? Just kind of going through the motions like most people are, just playing the game or going to school, right? But you have something bigger. So when did you shift from like going into the corporate world and like, okay, I'm gonna be a physician or doctor or whatever it is, right? That just a specialist to I want to be a business owner and work for myself. When did that part start to rumble inside of you?
Right. So I think, I mean, I came home, I graduated December 2019. I
Mm-hmm.
came home, I was working for my dad just to make some extra money. And then it was like while I was interviewing, I interviewed for 2 weeks and I was like, dude, I don't feel good about any of this.
Mm.
But then I got introduced to the captive agency. It didn't matter. It wasn't that I was so crazy about this company. It was about life insurance. It just
Mm-hmm.
made sense. Like people are going to die. Why not guarantee to leave money behind?
Right.
It just it just made sense. Like I have buddies that do well in solar cells. I have buddies that do well in pest control. I did protein cells. Like I know they do well, but it's a one-time sale. This is for the life of the client. And that's one thing that I understood early on. It was just trying to be able to generate the clients and generate the leads. And that was kind of the main difference between where I was at and where I'm at now is
Mm-hmm.
90% of my time was spent prospecting, 10% of my time was spent selling, to where I came over here, I removed all prospecting, and then I could spend 90% of my time or 99% of my time just selling.
Mm. Right. So, so you make that transition. You're like, okay, this isn't for me. I want to kind of go out on my own. You get introduced to practice company. What were that first 6 months like for you?
I mean, it was just a grind. It was like I use this analogy. It was like you're a raw piece of metal. You get thrown in the furnace, and you're gonna get heat up. You're gonna get beaten on. You're gonna go through struggles, but ultimately you're gonna sharpen yourself to be this freaking sharp sword that you honed in on your craft. So, I mean, if I think about it now, like it was just I was just having fun with it. Like I was
Mm,
broke. I grew up broke. It wasn't gonna phase me. Like single mom raising 5 kids, with that was tough watching my
mm-hmm,
mom grow up. But this wasn't tough for me. This was like, okay, cool. I'm broke. I didn't get a sell.
mm-hmm.
What's $500 to zero? That's still zero anyways.
Right. You know
And I
what's
think,
Yeah,
go
hold,
ahead.
hold on. I was gonna say, you know what's funny? That's interesting because that's what the insurance business was and entrepreneurship. It was fun for me because I had already slept on the floor. I was eating ramen noodles. I slept on an air mattress. I didn't have anything in my apartment, so there wasn't much lower I can go. The only thing I could do was go higher, and I just needed
Yeah.
somebody to kind of show me what to do. And if I had a plan, a good mentor, and I was willing to work hard, which I mean, I didn't have any choice. I didn't have a plan B. I had to make it work. So from
Right.
there, I was like, oh, okay, I just need to get somebody to say yes. And so I learned a lot in the industry. But I'm curious for you, when did it click? Like at what point did it make sense and you realize, oh, okay, I can be really good at this and I'm gonna make a bunch of money?
Right. What's crazy is my first year, it never really made sense, but I knew it was going to work out. And
Mm.
I just knew, like, I'm like you, I had no plan B. So this is going to work. And if it's not, I'm going to burn it to the ground trying to make it work.
Right.
And I mean, I learn stuff new every day. I'm 26 years old. I don't know everything. And it's like, I'm just extremely humble and open to learning from everybody, whether it's a new agent that's been here 10 years, 5 years, 5 months, it doesn't matter. And I think I'm always a student of the game.
Nice.
Like, it's not, I know it all. It's like, I'm on the right track. Stay humble, stay coachable, because you could lose it just as fast as you got it. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I think my first year, it was like those last couple months, I'm like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm
Mm.
getting momentum. It's starting to stick. It's starting to make sense. And I was recruiting, making no money. I was
Mm.
developing and training, making no money. I was building a business while I was broke. Now I come over here, I'm in a vehicle, I can sell 30, 40, 50 grand a month, make money. Hell, I can recruit the world now. I was doing it, not making any money. So I think it makes sense when I transitioned, because I was like, okay, this is the money everybody was talking about. This is
Right.
the type of money you can make in insurance.
For
And
sure.
it was about the money in the beginning when I first transitioned, because I had 300 bucks in my account. My first month, I had deposited 30 grand, and it was like the light at the end of the tunnel. And then it was like, okay, all financial stress, worries out the window. How do I teach people to go from 300 bucks like I did to be able to make 200, 300, 400, 500 grand a year? And that's really, I mean, Sean said the other day, are you willing to do the work when you don't need the money? And those
Yeah.
are the type of people I want to work with. You're gonna you're gonna go through struggles, hardships, you're gonna make money, but ultimately, like, are you going to do the work when you don't need the money? And that's the type of leader I want to be. It
Yes.
was never about, boom, I got mine, I'm out later, guys. It's like, hey, dude, I got mine. You should do it this much faster, because I'll tell you what not to do. I'll
Yeah.
show you what I did
100%.
that didn't work.
Yeah. And so I want to piggyback on that because there's levels to this, right? So in the beginning, you're doing everything out of necessity and desperation. But once the bills are paid, now it's like, okay, how much work ethic do you really have? And how much impact do you want to make serving people? Because there's a reason why in the dictionary, impact comes before income. And so if like Zig Ziglar says, like if you help everybody get what they want, you can have everything that you want. So walk me through how you made that transition in your mindset to go from it's about me, all right, I've done that, to now I want to help a bunch of other people.
Right. That happened for me month one. Like, I just had to go out and instill the belief in myself that I could do it. And I'm a firm believer, like, I'll be completely transparent with you. When I graduated high school or college, I was the biggest jackass you ever met. So
Yeah.
if I could do it, they could definitely do it. I just attribute this to hard work, determination, desire, and consistency. And if they're willing to do that, you can't not get paid in the industry. Like,
Yeah.
if you keep showing up when people stop showing up, like, you will get paid eventually.
Right.
And I'm big on, like, don't compare your chapter 1 to my chapter 30. I've been here going on 3 years now. Like, you may get it a lot faster, it may take you a little longer, but eventually you're going to get it if you keep showing up. And I think it clicked for me month one. Once I made the money, the belief was there. It's like, okay, now it's about other people. Like, let's go change some freaking lives.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, that's the first part of leadership too, is you do it first, right? And then you teach it. Most people get it backwards. They try to like go recruit and teach people before they actually done it. And it's that just gives you a glass ceiling because you haven't had any mastery. And I'm just curious because you keep talking about drive, right? Where does that come from? And who is, some people that are the most influential people that you've kind of come across in your short journey and career?
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to break in here for just a couple of seconds. If you're a life insurance agent that wants to go from 0 to 100K per month, I need you to listen up. We have a free course that you can grab right now. The link is in the description for this video. You're going to get over 30 hours of training and deep dive instruction on how you can do this. It is the best performing piece that we have that is absolutely free to life insurance agents to take them from where they are 100K plus every month. Follow these instructions, grab the course. It's called Life Insurance Agent University.
I think it's just this competitive burning desire that I have in me to win. And my definition of winning always changes every week, every month, every year. And I think that allows me to keep going. I was like an undersized football player. I was uh, I was a decent football player at a small school. I graduated, I got to college, and there was 12 safeties playing safety.
Mm.
And I realized, like, hey, if I want to get on the field, I got to work my ass off. So I did that, and I started all 4 years of college. So it's like, if I can do that and transition that into business, imagine what I could accomplish in business.
Mm.
And I think it's just I have to feel like I accomplished something every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not productive in my activity or productive in my work, then I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. I don't feel deserving to be in a leadership position.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and again, like I like to like kind of talk high level, but at the end of the day, like, sometimes agents think things that aren't true. And so when you're talking about working hard every single day and setting goals and achieving things, what's the average day look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it has to start for me. This works for me. Like I have to get up. I have to go do something hard. So I hit the gym 5:30 a.m. After 5:30, I'll listen to a podcast. I'll read a book. But it's like I only do it if it's productive. If I'm reading a book and the first 2 pages I'm in it, and the third page I hit and I'm kind of thinking all over the place, I'll stop reading it because it's not productive.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to start my day doing something hard. So get in the gym, work out, challenge myself physically. That way, when I get throughout the day, like insurance isn't hard. Dude, I was packing scaffolding. That is hard. In the Arizona
Right.
summer, I'm packing heavy ass planks on my shoulder and setting
Yes.
houses. Like that was some of the hardest work I've done. This is more mentally. And if you could bulletproof this, like you'll be unstoppable in this industry. And in order for me to stay sharp, keep my energy and my attitude at all time high, I have to work on myself personally and professionally outside of doing the work in insurance.
Gotcha.
So I have to go to the gym. I have to read. I have to listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
When I come home, I may have to go on a run or hit the heavy bag, whatever I got to do just to be able to be the best version of myself every single day. I don't want to carry any weight from Friday or from Saturday. I don't want to carry any weight from yesterday into today.
Mm.
I just want to be my wholesome self to agents and to the industry as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that thanks for sharing that, because I think that that's one of the challenges with in the insurance business. Sometimes agents kind of let things bleed over into the next day, into the next call, right? And then they end up burnt out, and they end in this space that's a negative, scarce space, and they don't realize that they haven't either, washed off the day before, they haven't resolved it, or they haven't done something to keep their mind and their energy sharp. And so, how important is that being in this business? Because I always say this is like you're a business athlete, right? And so
Yeah.
you've got to make sure that you're optimizing your physical, your mental, and your activity. So how important is it to have those disciplines and those daily routines?
It's crucial. So it makes sense to me because I was a defensive back, and we always talk about DB mindset. Like it's that
Mm-hmm.
next play mentality. There's
Mm.
times I've had people catch a 50-yard pass on me. There's times people have scored on me. Like if I let that get to me, it's going to carry into the next possession, and then I'm not going to be worth a shit. So I think it's always that next play mentality, that next call mentality, that next sell mentality, that next day mentality.
Mm. A
And I
DB
think that
mentality.
is that's just where it transitions for me into business. I had that DB mentality. Like you're going to be on the field, there's going to be fans yelling at you saying they're going to look you up. They're going to be yelling at you. They're going to be saying some crazy stuff. And if you let that get to you, like it's going to eat you alive. And if
Yeah.
you let a drop pass or a dropped interception or a touchdown on you get to you, like it's going to consume you. Same thing with business. You let the no sell or the bad call or the FU or the I don't want it get to you, and you let it inside you and consume you, it's going to be hard to keep moving. So you just got
Yeah.
to have thick skin and just realize like that's part of the process. That's one thing I am. I'm extremely transparent with people that come and work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I let them know like you are going to get the FUs. You are going to get the no's. You're going to get the I don't want it. but you're also going to run into sweet Joe and Mary that they've been wanting to take care of this, and you're going to be the person that can take care of it for them. But if you carry over that anger, that weight from the last call, somebody telling you F you, they're going to feel that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think that like hanging on to those things is the death of an agent, right? It's like you cannot count how many people said no. That's just a recipe for disaster. So in learning that, right, you know, you have some success quickly. You know, the first year didn't go so well. You switch companies in the first 30 days. You know, you finally handle some financial things. So you're like, okay, now I want to build a team. So walk me through the progression of like, you know, the first 3 months, first 6 months of building a team to where you are and the numbers that you guys are hitting right now.
Right. So I think I'm always growing as a leader, and I'm starting to figure out stuff that works with training. When I first started, it was like, hey, let's recruit a bunch of people. We don't really have any systems. I'm going to sell in the field. I'm going to try to sell at a high level, and they're just going to figure it out. And I thought everybody could be like me, like, hey, this is a system, this is a script, these are the days I show up, and this is what to expect from it. Well, in all reality, everybody's going to be a little different. So when I first started, I was just trying to recruit everybody and bring them in. And some people had fallen out that may still be with me if I had the systems and training and the resources I do have in place today. But that's all part of it. That's part of figuring it out. Right. And eventually it's going to come around. So my first month, second month, I probably had, I would say 10 to 30 people that come over from my practice company that were working with me. And we were all figuring out together. They realized like I'm the guy with all the answers. And I never hire people or recruit people and say, hey, like I'm your boss.
Right.
I'm your manager. I never say that. I don't even like that. I don't even like those terms because I'm not their boss. I'm their business partner. When I'm their business partner, they're going to search for solutions just like I'm searching for solutions. They're not going to ask silly questions that they can look up because they know like, hey, you got to provide value just like I'm going to try to provide value to you. And that's the whole point I'm trying to get across is like, if we can get in that mindset as a team together, we'll be unstoppable.
Wow.
And it's crazy because all I did was put my head down. I kept showing up. I did that week after week, month after month. And then I looked up and where we're at today, I'm like, dang, it feels like I've barely been in the industry 6 months. It's been almost 3 years. And
gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Well, I got one question with that because it sounds like when you made the shift from being a boss to a business partner, now you're training people to be leaders and people that are taking ownership of their own destiny. And so in making that shift, how has that been able to help you grow as an agency, right? Where now, you know, instead of calling you and texting you when they're out in the field about carriers and if this and medicines, that they can now independently go and do those things themselves. Because I know in the beginning, right, you answering every phone call and every text feeling like you're responsible for the agent's success, which you are. But at the same time, you know, people do have to take ownership and leadership in the process of their own success.
Yeah. I think that's the reason why we have grown at the rate we have is because we do have leaders like that to where it's not like we're dragging people to success. We're running with people to success. Like we're all figuring it out. We're all putting our head down. Like Caitlin, Nicolette, Bree, Kevin, Jay, I could name Colton, Rhett. I can name all these people that I show up and they don't need me to go sell 30, 40 grand a month for them. They're just going to do it because they understand like, hey, I'm a business owner. I got to lead this ship. I got to set the pace for the growth of my business, my own business. And I think like it wasn't anything I did special. I think I was doing all the little things right. I think these people got placed in my life for a reason. And I think, yeah, we've butted heads. We've worked together. We've gone through some stuff. And ultimately, we've grown together as a leader. And we realize we're a lot stronger together than we are separated. And I think we provide so much value because maybe something I'm saying is not working, and I get them around Caitlin, Kev, Bree, or Nicolette, and then all of a sudden it clicks for them.
Gotcha.
And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get them in front of as many people as I can that are in the right headspace to be able to instill the belief in them that they can do this too, because you really can.
Gotcha.
Like I'm nothing special. And that's the craziest thing is I the people that are crushing it here, they don't have doctorates. They're not like the smartest or the best looking or the sharpest or the fittest. It just comes down to the hardest workers. Like, are you willing to show up? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to do the work when you don't need the money? Will you consistently do the little things? And if you're willing to do that, like, you can do it. But 90% of people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, and that's the key is how do I get people to take extreme ownership of their situation and get them to actually do the work? Because at the end of the day, if you do the work, you get the reward. And I say to agents all the time, this is a consistency and persistency business. So if you're willing to put in the work, the numbers just tend to work out when you do the numbers. So I'm just curious on how you were able to have so much agency success so fast. How are you able to attract and recruit people? I know I talked to Nina, and she said she leveraged social media, and I'm just curious on what your strategy was and how you were able to execute that.
Yeah, I think social media is the way of business and recruiting nowadays, because 90% of people my age or my generation have social media. Same for you, and even people that are older starting to get into social media, so they're even on it as well. But I think that's super important when building a business, is having a social media presence so people know what you do.
Right.
There's probably, I get 10 messages a week that I didn't even have to recruit. They're like, hey, saw your page, came across, know you're in insurance sales, watch the video in your bio. I test this Friday, I'm ready to get rolling. And I'm like, dang, dude, I didn't even have to talk to you. Let's go. You're going to be a freaking beast. And then I think you got to make connections. I send messages every single day just to optimize other platforms like LinkedIn. 20 messages a day, 140 messages a week, 560 a month. All you got to do is teach 16 people every single month how to write 10 grand plus a month. In 6 months, that's 96 people doing 10 grand. That's 960,000 in production. You make up 40 grand of it, you're at $1 million a month in 6 months. But it's not that simple. Like, you do have to do the work.
Right.
It sounds glamorous on the outside. It sounds glamorous when you say it and you hear it. But like, you got to do the work. You got to get the trenches 7 days a week. You got to send the messages. You got to lead from the front. And I was big on that too, is I came from a place where a lot of people, they're like, hey, go sell. And you're like, I've seen this guy sell in 6 months. What do you mean go sell? And I didn't want to be that type of leader. I want to be the leader that is not afraid to get his hands dirty. We'll get in the trenches for you. We'll show you how to lead from the front. And that's the best way to train, is like, sell in front of people. Like, you give them the scripts, you give them the trainings. You don't need to sit there and micromanage them. I get on Zoom, I unmute, and I sell in front of them. And then if they get on one, I'll mute my client and I'll help them out through it. But it's just leading from the front.
Yeah, like, leading by example. A doer. A lot of the best leaders are the ones that are doers instead of tellers. So, with that, I wonder if you're kind of implementing that same strategy, because I know you messaged me saying a lock-in. So, what is a lock-in? Why is that important, and how powerful and integral has it been to your business for you guys being able to get those people hitting those numbers, getting to that 960 a month?
Yeah, I think that is. That's crucial to our growth. We've done one almost every month since I've been here.
Okay, so what does that look like?
And we'll get an Airbnb. We'll get a lot of new agents in there, and the psychology behind it is, first and foremost, if you have a massive agency and you haven't met the people on your team, it's going to be hard to lead people that don't know you. So I wanted to get around and I wanted to meet people, and then the second step behind that is I wanted to show them how hard we're actually working, because people may think like, hey, he got a sell, but they didn't see the $1,000 behind that sell. So I think that's super important. And then proximity is power. When we get a lot of high-level producers in there around a bunch of new agents, they realize the high-level producers are nothing special. They're normal people too. Like, they got skin, flesh, blood. Like, they're normal freaking people.
Right.
But they're sitting here and they're staying on the phones all day until they get a sell. And then it allows us to come together to where maybe they don't feel like they could reach out to me, but they feel like they could reach out to somebody they met the lock-in that's successful. Yeah. And that way they're learning a lot faster. Where there's 5-6 teachers, you're going to learn more from them than you are one teacher.
Yeah.
Than you are from me.
For sure. Yeah, man. And it's, I think that that's so cool because I know we have a mastermind here called the Agent Accelerator, and we have, agents doing between 30 and 120K per month. And we had an event back in September of 2022, and a lot of the people knew who Kevin Alexander was, and he's one of the top agents in our program, hit Hall of Fame in 6 months from working with us. And they came, was like, okay, what are the special leads and what's the special script that you had? And at the end of the day, they realized that, oh, he's saying the same thing I am. He is just working 10 times as hard as I am, and he's not cutting any corners. And so when they got together and they were able to see that, oh, he's just outworking us, it makes it really tangible. It's like, if I put in the work, then I can get the reward. But also they were able to see, because he was telling them exactly what he was doing, what his day looked like, how it was structured, getting up at 5 a.m. every single day, in between calls, what he was doing to follow up with people, how many times. The man said he would dial a lead 27 times to make sure that he hit his numbers. And some people were just kind of shocked. And he said that a lead isn't dead until it's 6 feet in the ground. And that's the kind of mentality that you need to have in order to really take it to the next level in this business. So yeah, man, a lot of those things that you said were absolutely powerful, and I'm definitely glad to have you on. So I'm just curious, as we kind of wrap up, if thousands of agents are going to be watching this, and if they're inspired by what you're saying and they're looking to kind of connect with you, where can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, don't reach out if you're not working hard. I won't work or respond to people that don't have any drive. They don't work hard. They're not motivated. They're not fired up. Those are the type of people I work with. But you can reach out to me on Bowen_Sweeney17. And then my personal number is 928-970-1502. And I say that as in, like, dude, if you got a will to win, you're willing to show up, you don't have any excuses, you come with solutions. Those are the type of people that win here. For
sure. Yeah, man. And again, thanks so much, Bo. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this was definitely valuable. You can obviously see why Bo is a special individual and doing extraordinary things with this agency. And so if you're a life insurance agent and you're seeing this and you're struggling or you're thinking about getting into the business as a 9-to-5, reach out to Bo. He left his Instagram handle and his phone number, but only if you're serious. Thank you guys again. We'll see you on the next Rainmaker podcast.
Hey, I know you just enjoyed this video, but I've got a great one for you right here. Make sure you go ahead and click it right now and get a ton more of our free information that's going to show you how to go from 0 to 100K per month.